What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Today I want to address something, and I get this question a lot on my Instagram lives, and that is, Jerry, what do you think about weed in bodybuilding, weed in gains, weed in general? It seems to be weed. They actually say weed, right? Now, before we even get started, let me just say that I'm not going to talk about weed. I'm going to talk about THC and CBD, the two things that I feel could be beneficial for many individuals. Now, don't break any laws. You know, THC, marijuana, medical marijuana, it's all being legalized all over the U.S. and it's becoming a big popular thing right now. It's being available for recreational use in places like Colorado, California now, Las Vegas. You know, they just approved medical marijuana here in Virginia. They have medical marijuana available in Maryland already. So it's really kind of becoming a big thing. And before we get started, I just want to shout out to Crystal Cure. They actually came to see me in LA when I was at the LA Fit Expo. And they have and I know people that use their stuff in California at the dispensaries. If you're there looking for oils and stuff like that, Crystal Cure, it's the most pure shit that they have. If you're at a dispensary where they don't have it, ask them if they would want to supply it, because literally there's no solvents, no nothing. There's nothing in it except the pure oil, and apparently, from what everybody tells me, this is like the top-notch stuff. It's so pure. So shout out to Crystal Cure for helping people out there with their ailments and stuff and putting out a great product. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the CBD oil. Now, this is the one that I've been using for quite a while. It's from Charlotte's Web. That's the name of the company. Now, I started the CBD oil about a year ago when I was having some problems with inflammation in my shoulder. And I looked it up and they said CBD oil for inflammation. I'm like, I didn't really know much about it. I went to the health food store here in Virginia and they actually had it. And the guy was telling me about it and he was like, yeah, this is this, this is that. And I was like, I don't know. I was a little skeptical because I thought it was weed. I thought it was marijuana. Like, I didn't understand the difference between the cannabidiol and the THC. I didn't understand the difference. So I did a little more research. I understood it. I started using it for the inflammation in my shoulder when that tendon started flaring up in my bicep tendon. Well, I also noticed that I was very calm. My anxiety went away. And Erin even noticed it like right away. She was like, wow, you're so much calm. If I didn't take it, I would be anxious. If I took it, I wouldn't be anxious. So I started taking it for the anxiety, and lo and behold, it's just an amazing thing. It's like a night and day difference. The quality of my life has gone up so much because I don't have that anxiety I naturally had. And part of the reason I was addicted to drugs when I was younger was the anxiety that they would not medicate me for. They were trying to give me stuff like Buspar and these long-acting like antidepressants instead of giving something for the anxiety when I would get it, like short-acting like Xanax or something like that, because it's too addictive and I was too young. So therefore, basically, I just kind of medicated myself with the drugs over time because I couldn't take the anxiety. Now, fast forward to now, this stuff, no psychoactive effects, doesn't make you high, non-addictive, but it calms your anxiety. It calms inflammation. This stuff is amazing. So do I feel that CBD is beneficial for bodybuilding? Absolutely. Do I feel it's beneficial for gains? I wouldn't say gains, not necessarily, but in general, inflammation, anxiety, that's the biggest thing. You know, like a lot of people take a lot of these pre-workouts and you're all hyped up and you can't calm down and you're anxious and stuff. This actually helps with that, okay? But for natural anxiety like I have, it's a godsend. People with actual diagnosed anxiety, it's an absolute fucking godsend. Now, that being said, that's the CBD oil, which has no psychoactive effects, doesn't make you high. Then there's the THC, which now is available at all these dispensaries pretty much all across the nation. Now, I personally, this is just for me personally, I don't like the smoking or inhaling of things, okay? For me, it's just not, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I grew up where both my parents smoked. Smoke really bothers me. And it's not just cigarette smoke, it's marijuana smoke too. Now, I would say personally, if you have lung problems, asthma, like, don't smoke anything, okay? Do not smoke anything. But here's the thing. Taking the smoke aside, do I think that THC itself has benefits? Abso-fucking-lutely. I do not think that, like they say, it raises estrogen, smoking weed raises estrogen. Listen, if you go to these dispensaries now, you don't have to get weed. You can literally go to the dispensary, get a Tinacure, it's like a little eyedropper like that of THC. You can get the edibles, which are like little gummies. They have capsules. They have, there's a couple other, I think there was dabs, they call it. But anyways, but bottom line is there's things you don't have to smoke anymore. And what I didn't like about weed in general was there really was no way to get your dosage. So like people that smoke weed, just smoke weed, get high, get fucked up, pass out, whatever. To me, I'm not that, I like to be more controlled than that, right? Well, now they have the THC edibles and pills and stuff like that. You know how many milligrams to take to get a certain effect. Therefore, if you were gonna take, let's say 5 milligrams, it would have a calming effect on you. It would make you a little loopy, but wouldn't make you totally fucked up. You would be able to take that when you get home from doing whatever you were doing, calm down, relax, sleep well, wake up with no hangover. I think for me personally, the best application for THC, I mean, of course, people are going to fucking party with it and do stupid shit, but the best application for TLC for health-wise, bodybuilding, gains, etc., or even just for overall general health, we all have problems sleeping. We all have problems calming down at the end of the day. That is when you would take your dose of THC if you're eating an edible, a couple hours before bed. You pop the edible, it'll kick in, you'll be able to sleep, wake up with no hangover. I think it's an amazing alternate to anti-anxiety medications as well as sleeping medications. You know, highly addictive sleeping medications that you have to get like 10 hours of sleep or you wake up all messed up, that have these amnesia effects where you wake up on the pills themselves and the medication that you took for sleeping and you have no recollection of what you're doing. Like you do stuff like you go outside to take the trash out, but you walk to the corner store in your underwear with your toothbrush in your hand. And then you fucking wake up and you have no idea what the fuck happened. Your wife is like, what the fuck? Not that this has ever happened to me. I'm just saying this is the shit that happens. I actually had a friend who was on his sleeping pill and he was in the middle of the night at the front door with his head on the door like this, at the front door with 2 bags in each hand. And his girl gets up and she goes, you know, what are you doing? He didn't answer. He's wide awake. His eyes are open. He's holding in his underwear and he's trying to get through the door. He's like, keeps like touching his head to the door. So she just kind of grabs him by the shoulders, goes like this, and he puts the bags down and walks back into the bedroom and goes to bed. When he woke up, he had no recollection of it. Before he went to bed, he was thinking that he had to return some of those things that were in the bags to the store. So for some reason in his head when he went to sleep, he acted that out unconsciously, subconsciously, to where he wasn't even technically awake doing it, but his eyes were open, he was walking around. And if he wasn't in bed for 10 hours and slept for 10 hours, he would be a complete mess when he woke up. It would take him 3 hours to get over it. So these people that are being medicated with these sleep medications, THC is an amazing alternative. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not a doctor. These are my opinions. And I don't think I've ever seen actually someone have an issue with THC if it was controlled like that. I mean, I know a lot of people smoke weed and they go about their day and stuff, but here's the deal. Used in the right way, used the way it's meant to be used, I don't think there's any problem with it, just like everything else out there. If you use things the way that they're supposed to be used, which most people don't, you're not going to have an issue with it, you know. But is there always that possibility that something is going to pop up? Yes, you have to be aware that you may have some kind of fucking, I don't want to say issue or problem or addiction or whatever when you're using any kind of medication or anything like that. But THC seems to be a very low risk medication that you can use. But again, you know, if it's not recreational where you're at, you go to your doctor, see if the symptoms and stuff line up and see if he'll prescribe it to you. But overall, people are asking me about weed and bodybuilding. Look, I knew some guys that were extremely big guys that were taking steroids that made their appetites go fucking completely away. And what they would do is they would actually smoke weed and get their appetite back. They would get all their calories in, or some of them would even smoke weed when they were dieting for a show to stay calm. And I remember one of my friends actually eating the whey protein out of a fucking tub. He would open up the fucking tub and eat the whey protein out of there because he was hungry and wanted chocolate and he was high. But he was still massive as a motherfucker and he still did great in his fucking show. So do I think it's detrimental to gains in bodybuilding, etc.? No. Do I think there are medical applications? Fucking absolutely all over the place. Do I think it's the demon that it was thought of 20 years ago? If you would have asked me 20 years ago, or even 10, 15, even 5 years ago, if you would have asked me, does marijuana, THC, or CBD or anything like that have a place in bodybuilding? I would have said no. I absolutely would have said no. But the quality of life with these things being used as medications the right way absolutely can make your life more fulfilling if you're using them when they're needed. So be aware, guys. I don't think that they're a bad thing. I don't think that, I mean, everything has the potential to be bad, right? But I do feel like there's things out there that are a lot more harsh that you could replace with the THC and the CBD to live an overall better life and not be fucked up and addicted to prescription drugs. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com. The THC is worth it, and we are out.